Okay, we're getting into solving systems of equations. You did graphing yesterday. The first algebra step here is solving systems by substitution. We'll spend 2 lessons on it. This is lesson 1. Just 2 examples I'll give you of the problems you'll run into. So there'll be a problem somewhat like an elevator type of problem where one elevator is going up and maybe the other elevator is coming down. Let's say this one's going up at 5 feet per second. Let's say this one's maybe coming down at -4 feet per second. Maybe it starts out at 45 feet. Okay, so and then this one starts out at 0 feet. Okay, so I'd say write an equation for each elevator and then solve the system to find out where they meet up at. Basically, these 2 elevators, probably shouldn't have put them right on top of each other. Say they're going like this. When do they actually pass each other? Is what we're looking for. Okay, so this one's going to be y equals, y is the height. We're starting at 45, going down -4. So you could say -4x plus 45, right? Start at 45, decreasing by 4. That's the rate of change or the slope. This one's starting out at 0, but going up at 5 feet per second. So something like that. The rate of change is 5, and the y-intercept 0. Okay, to solve the system, we basically are going to use what's called substitution. I'm going to sub this in right there in place of that y. Since y equals this, I can put this 5x right there. So basically, we're going to say 5x equals -4x plus 45. You're kind of like setting the equations equal to each other, we could say. This equals that. And then solve this out for x. 9x equals 45. So x is what, 5? Okay, so that's the time, right? At 5 seconds, they'll meet. That's what that means. They meet at 5 seconds. The height at that time, we could plug it in and see. So if we say y equals 5x and then plug in this, we get 25, right? We could also plug it into the other, oops, couldn't see that. Okay, so if I plugged in the 5 into here, I could also plug it into this other one. So let's see what happens there. Y equals -4x plus 45. Let's plug in 5. -4 times 5 plus 45. So -20 plus 45 is still 25, right? So all that's saying is at 5 seconds, both of these elevators are at 25 feet. So you could solve either one, I guess. Plug it in here or plug it in there. They meet at 5 seconds. They meet at 25 feet off the ground. That's the 2 things you need to answer. Okay, the other type of question you'll see is something like this. It'll be like a running back type of scenario. It'll be something like one running back has 4 times as many yards as the other. Okay, as many yards as the other. Sorry about my sloppiness. And the sum of their yardage, or if we add them together, is some number, okay? Let's say it's 150 yards. Okay, so then we want to know how many yards does each running back have, okay? So let's write equations for this. It'll say write an equation, solve, or write 2 equations, solve the system. One of the running backs is x and one is y. Okay, that would be what we define as our variables. One is 4 times the other. So I'm just going to say y is equal to 4x, right? Because that would mean this y is 4 times bigger than x, okay? That means one is 4 times the other. The sum is this y plus x equals 150. Okay. Now to do substitution here, think about it. We're going to put 4x right there. Okay, notice what I did there. I put 4x because y equals 4x. I was able to replace that y with a 4x. Okay, so I put 4x right there. I kept this. I'll keep this. Now I've got an equation I can solve. Okay, so 4x plus x is 150. looking like we're gonna get, what, x is 30? Okay, so one of the running backs, this guy had 30 yards. To figure out the other one, I could either plug in here or here. Probably easier just to plug into this one. So y equals 4x. If I plug in 30 for x, 4 times 30, the other guy had, what, 120. Okay, so make sure that works out. One's 4 times the other. Yep, that works, right? 4 times bigger here than here. The sum is 150. You could have got that by guessing and checking, but to get credit on the assignment today, you do need to show me that you can understand how to write these equations and solve out that system. Okay, I think if you can do that, you're all set.